Okay, guys, sitting in line at Walnut Creek Elementary, waiting to pick up my niece. I have a few minutes, so thought I would continue on with the video. Um, this is probably video 3 of just my first diagnosis still. And if anybody's ever picked up a child from school, this is stupid. There's probably 30 cars in front of me. Don't these people have a job? Come on. Anyway, so I think the last video I ended basically talking about how I was planning my funeral. I wasn't supposed to make it. Did the hysterectomy. Doctor comes back, says it's gone. Holy shit. We don't know why. We don't know what to do, but go live your life. So, we start with checkups every month because it was so serious. Then we go to every 6 months, then we go to every year. And so that's and this was from the cancer diagnosis 20 years ago. So I'm still at every year, but I go in between because I have so many other complications from radiation and chemo that I'm in there all the time. So, but if I wasn't having those complications on a normal basis, I would go in once a year for a checkup. So, beat the cancer. We're starting to do follow-ups. Everything's good. Bam. One day I am being rushed to the ER because I am in the worst pain of my entire life in my belly. I feel like somebody's literally stabbed me with a knife and ripped my gut open. Get to the hospital, doubled over in pain. Like, hey, you're having a bowel obstruction. So when I say bowel obstruction, there's two versions, and I think what everybody immediately thinks when you hear bowel obstruction is the one that I do not have. My bowel obstruction is I have so much scar tissue growing inside of my abdomen from the radiation that it is 10 times the amount that somebody would have if they've had one surgery. So I have all this scar tissue growing inside my belly, and it's literally wrapping itself around my intestines. So on occasion, it starts to act like an asshole and will decide to tie itself into a knot, squeeze the blood flow off from my intestines, and cause me lots of pain. I'm going to start with a low number because, like I said, I'm getting my medical records and I want to have exact numbers. I've probably had, let's say, 5 surgeries from this. And that's on the low end. Like, it's really more. I've been in the hospital over a dozen times from this. Kind of a running joke in my family. It's my home away from home. So going to the hospital is like not a big deal. All my friends, and especially new ones that I meet, like, oh my God, I need to come up there. I'm like, don't. I'm just sitting here. You're just going to sit here. Everybody knows the hospital is no fun. So I'll literally walk into my daughter's room and be like, hey, I'm going to the hospital. She always asks, do I need to drive you? I'm like, no. And she's like, okay, let me know when I need to come up there. It's kind of our routine. We've got this little system down now. And it's the same way with my family because at first they would all rush to the hospital. And then after a dozen of these things, they're all like, we're not going up there anymore. So again, like I said, it's no big deal. I've had multiple surgeries due to the bowel obstructions. They've removed one time they removed about 12 inches of intestines. The second time it was about half that, so 6 obviously, which when you realize how much intestines you have isn't a lot, but it's kind of a big deal. They were dead, so they had to remove them. And I have like multiple personalities when it comes to my facial expressions, so sorry about that, guys. And every video like has the worst face ever. as like the image. So I don't care. Fuck it. But I just think it's hilarious. I had to throw that out there. So yeah, so that's where we're at. You know, I'm having bowel obstructions, having these surgeries. Um, and this all started when I was 22, like immediately after um, my radiation and surgery, like they immediately started happening. So 22, 23, let's say, I started having these bowel obstructions at least once a month. Then it kind of goes to every 6 months, then it goes to every 8 months, and then once a year. Um, and then I kind of had like a little break, and then all of a sudden, throughout the years, it just started happening again really bad. So, I mean, for me to be in the hospital every month with one of these things is not a big deal. So, my original oncologist is originally from Fort Worth, Texas. And that's when I first started seeing him when I was 30. I have 3 oncologists. The first one was Dr. Hancock, saved my life the first time for the cervical cancer. When cancer came back, Dr. number 2 and 3 are Dr. Crowley and Dr. Lococo. They saved my life the second time. So when I met Dr. Lococo, I was still having these bowel obstructions. And so the first one I had with him, I go to the hospital. Of course, they want to do surgery. And he calls, like I message him, and he calls the hospital, says she's coming in, do not do surgery. Do not touch her. He comes in the next morning to explain why. And I'm like, and so in the meantime, you know, of 3 o'clock in the morning from the time he gets there at 5, 6 a.m., they're doping me full of pain meds and fluids. And he gets there and he's like, the reason we're not doing surgery is because every time we open you up, which we have multiple times already, he's like, we're creating more scar tissue. He's like, a lot of these surgeons think that they're doing a great job because they're going in, cleaning it out, and giving you, you know, just that much more time before it grows back. And he's like, when all reality, they're making it worse because when it grows back, it's already 10 times worse than a normal person, but now they've reopened you up and have added to it, so now it's 12 times worse. So when it grows back, it's only causing me more issues. So 10 years ago, we stopped the surgeries, but for 10 years, I was having surgeries from 23 to 30, so 7 years, whatever. And then 30 to now 40, yes, I'm 40. There's been 10 years of no surgeries, but multiple hospital visits because of it. The only way they'll do a surgery now for a bowel obstruction is if it does kill the intestines, like it has twice. So that's the only way they'll do surgery. Other than that, I go into the hospital, lay there for about, you know, a couple hours. If it's super severe, I could be there for 2 to 3 days. So I'm going through the last, let's say, 19 years of my life with this. And when it happens, it's very excruciating pain. I'm down for days. And like I said, it really literally feels like somebody has stabbed me and cut me open like you would a deer, basically. That's how bad the pain is. So my doctor ends up moving to Illinois. I have an episode that lands me in the hospital for a week. Talked to him on the phone, and he's like, you need to come up to Illinois. It's time for you to have a colostomy bag. Of course, my instant reaction is, the fuck? I don't think so. Lots of tears, lots of crying. Go up to Illinois, talk to him, and he's like, we've got to do it. And I begged him not to. And he said, I will do everything in my power not to. So that first surgery, which was about 2 years ago, he went in and just cleaned out all the scar tissue. He did it robotically, so they didn't have to cut me open, so it does not create all that scar tissue. So he does this robotically. That put me down for a few weeks because it was such an intense surgery. So he comes out, I wake up, he's like, no colostomy bag. I was very excited because, like I said, prior to the surgery, he sat in the room and I cried and I told him I wasn't ready for it mentally. And I begged him, I was like, please do everything you can without having to do that. I'm not ready. Mentally. I mean, it was a very mental strain on me. I'll be honest with you. I went through some depression because of it and continue to now. So I don't get the colostomy bag, clean up the surgery, come home, down for a couple weeks, recover, get on with my life, right? At this point, Isabella is a senior in high school, getting ready for graduation, getting ready for her to graduate. I say no to the colostomy bag, but the doctors are like, you're going to end up with it, whether you like it or not. So it's just when you decide you're ready. And so I go a whole year ignoring it. Like, this shit ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna ignore it. I'm not getting a colostomy bag. The night before my daughter's graduation, she's in there. I get off of work. She's decorating her cap and gown. Basically her cap, because they can decorate it with all that little bullshit. You guys know all about that. Super proud moment. I walk in the living room, out of the bedroom, just getting off of work. She's with her best friend. And I just look at them and I stop and have a proud mom moment and, like, thinking to myself, we fucking did it. It's been me and my daughter her whole entire life. Her daughter has passed away. Her father has passed away. So it's been me and her whole life. And I'm thinking and looking at her and I'm like, we fucking did it. We fucking did this. We made it. She worked her ass off to graduate. I worked my ass off as a parent to support her and made sure she needed everything she needed in life to get to this point. And so I'm legit proud, right? So all of a sudden my stomach starts hurting. I'm like, oh, fuck my life. And usually, like the last episodes I've had, I've gone in for just a couple hours and have been able to come out and go home and rest. So that was my plan. I told Isabella my stomach's starting to hurt. I'm going to try to tough it out and make your graduation. And then I'll go to the hospital afterwards if I need to. Middle of the night, I'm in so much pain, I have to go to the hospital. I'm super pissed because I'm trying to fight this. I want to see my daughter graduate. Go to the hospital. I tell the doctors what's going on. And it's funny, now when I go in, like, they know what to do. I go to the OB ward, 2 shots of dilaudid fluids, Christie's golden. So I go in, I call my doctor in the middle of the night. She calls the on-call doctor. They've got the bed waiting for me. 2 shots of dilaudid fluids. I'm still dying. They give me 4 shots of dilaudid before I just finally knock out. I'm still having the pain, but I'm so drugged up that I just pass out. I'm knocked out, so I'm not really feeling the pain because I can't even wake up. I call one of my really good friends, Brandy, to come and pick me up because I need to make it to Isabella's graduation. So she comes to the hospital to pick me up. I am so bad, I do not make it. So my daughter graduates. I don't see it. She comes up to the hospital afterwards. I'm there for a couple of days. And that is the moment I decided to have my colostomy bag surgery. I bawled my eyes out for a week because what me and my daughter, mostly my daughter, have worked for and accomplished in life. And I know it's one of many big things that she's going to go through, but I still hate that I missed it. And she knows it. Cried for a week, and in that moment when I was in the hospital, I decided I'm doing the bag. Call my doctors, get everything set up. Obviously, it takes about a month or two to get all of it set up. Fly back to Illinois, and have my surgery to get a colostomy bag. So yes, I now have a colostomy bag. It is irreversible. It is forever. The surgery consists of them going in, removing part of your colon, part of my large bowel, cut a hole in my stomach, through my abdomen, through my muscle wall, everything, pull my intestines through there, fold it back, and sew it to my stomach. And so now I wear this bag that, thus the name, everything empties into the colostomy bag. And that's another reason, and another thing, or another reason why I decided to start these videos, is because of as of August 9th of this year, I've had my colostomy bag a year. I've ran a half marathon. I've continued to train jiu-jitsu. I've continued to work out with it. I've continued to live my life. A lot of people ask me if it bothers me when I train jiu-jitsu, and I'm like, no, not at all. I mean, I obviously know it's there. A lot of people don't. It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't affect me in a way it would working out wise. Like, I can still do everything. My hair looks like shit. It's humid and I look terrible. But it doesn't stop me from doing anything. If anything, it has mentally fucked me up. I started counseling because of it. You know, I'm a girl. We have insecurities as it is already. You know, we won't wear flip-flops if our toenails aren't painted. Imagine having a colostomy bag. That's sexy. But what I've learned is that if and when I ever get married or find the guy that is my soulmate, which I may never. I mean, I'm not looking for it. It's not something that I have to have or maybe even want. And not even that, just friends. Like, if it's something that really bothers somebody more than it bothers me, I don't need you in my life. Because it doesn't change who I am. But like I said, it has caused some major depression. It's very hard to deal with. And, you know, like everybody else out there says, you know, if there's anybody you know that's depressed or sad or suicidal, tell somebody, go to a counselor, talk to somebody, whether it works or not. I mean, 100% honest, it hasn't helped me. I'm still mentally retarded over my colostomy bag. But I keep going because maybe one day I'll walk out of there and have had accepted the fact that I have this and it is my life, even though it took me 500 visits to realize that. So, that's where we're at today, for video wise. I mean, obviously there's still a lot more to the story. This line is finally starting to move after 19 minutes of me sitting here talking to you guys. I'm going to pick up my wonderful, beautiful niece, Dakota. I'll have to do a video with her. She's the best kid in the world. Poor little baby's going through some shit herself. But she'll be good. So that's all I've got for now. Again, I love every single one of you that are watching, supporting, even the ones that aren't. Sorry about my multiple personality face. And also, I love the fact that, like, when you look at my videos on YouTube, like, how do they pick the thumbnail of my face to post? They're the worst ever. I need to get some Botox so my face won't move. So whenever I do go and post them, I have a normal straight face. All right, guys. Love y'all. Again, enjoy the small stuff. I'm going to always end with an I love you. Enjoy the small things. Follow me. 20 years of me. And that's it. Talk to y'all later. Love ya.